Now, Rick Santorum, I got to ask this question. 4 years ago, I don't think anyone really gave you a hair of a chance of really getting the nomination. It was remarkable that you won Iowa, that you stayed in the game as long. But this time around, you did win Iowa, and under the Republican system, you're almost automatically guaranteed the nomination. And so, because you were second last time around. As a candidate, if you are a candidate again, do you want foreign policy to dominate these debates? Do you think they will dominate these debates?
I think they're going to be an important part of the debate only because I don't see, as we saw from the outside speech, I don't see the president changing his tune, and as a result, I think the United States will continue to be weak, and when the United States is weak, others will try to gain and strengthen their position, and I think that's going to continue to occur in Russia. It will occur in China. China hasn't even been on the newspapers, but what China is doing is equally threatening to our allies in South Korea and Japan and Taiwan, and so there is a growing presence of folks who do not have America's interest in mind in dominating the world community right now, and I don't think that's going to change. And so there's no doubt it will be. And as someone who's looking at the 2016 presidential race and looking at the field and seeing really no one there that has any kind of national security experience, it certainly encourages me to take a more serious look at that as someone who's been engaged in this field and very active from both a standpoint of the Armed Services Committee when I served 8 years there and been very active on national security matters for the better part of 20 years.
Now, I have a piece coming out in Politico tomorrow, co-authored with Robert O'Brien, that talks about whether or not Romney will get in. But if he doesn't, it seems to me that Iowa is a three-way scrum between you, Ted Cruz, and Rand Paul. I don't know that anyone, I know that Governor Perry's been up there, but I don't know that he has a great deal of roots. He didn't do very well there the last time. Do you welcome a debate with Ted Cruz and Rand Paul about American foreign policy? And how do you see that debate? You know, Rand Paul, I don't call him isolationist. That's pejorative. I call him non-interventionist. And I don't, Senator Cruz last night got booed off the stage for saying a good word about Israel. God bless him. But it's a weird time in the Republican Party right now.
It is a strange time. And there is, for the last couple of years, there's been last few years, thanks to Rand Paul's father, there's been a burgeoning debate in the Republican Party about the role of how we should be, whether we should be involved and engaged in international affairs or whether we should just try to recede and allow the world to do its thing and just only get involved where it directly affects us. And I think we've seen President Obama take a very similar approach to that, and now we're seeing the consequences of it. I wrote an article earlier this week, citing Rand Paul and some of the positions he's taken, which he's now trying to backtrack on. And I admire him in a sense for taking those positions, for trying to move the Republican Party in the direction he thinks is best. But now that things have heated up, he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle. And I think the bottom line is, and this goes for President Obama too, that just because a war isn't hot doesn't mean it's not still percolating. And while radical Islam seemed to take a respite there for a while, I think people who look at the 1,300-year history of radical Islam knows that respites only last a bit of time, and then they do come back, and this is a continuing struggle and threat. And until Islam begins to address its own internal problems and deal with its own radical fringe, then this problem is going to continue to be one that the West has to attend to.